Hello and welcome to another class. My name is Tati. For those of you new here, welcome. For those of you who've practiced with me before, welcome back. I've recently read a book about the Yamas and the Niyamas. So these are the first two limbs of the 8 limbs of yoga and refer to the more ethical and philosophical principles underpinning yoga. So the yamas and niyamas are the restraints and observances. There's 5 of each, and I thought I would do a series whereby we investigate all 10 of these over the next coming weeks, and each class is themed around one of these. So today's class is themed around the first yama called Ahimsa, which also means non-violence. And it's going to be a slower paced, more restorative yin style class. And while we're holding the poses, I'll be discussing with you more what Ahimsa means, how you can incorporate it into your own life, reflections for self-exploration, and you'll see I've also linked a few journal prompts for you in the description box below. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, I invite you to click subscribe and join the community to follow along with all the other classes. If you're coming to this one after I've already released the rest of the series, you'll see that they'll be linked in the description box as they come out. Let's get started. Finding a standing position in the center of your mat. Feet are about hip width distance apart. Finding a tall spine, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. And taking a few deep breaths into the belly. And exhale out with a sigh. And then taking the fingers so that the tips of the fingers can gently start patting along the collarbone. So starting at the center of the chest and then tapping to either side along the collarbone all the way to each shoulder. Tapping, you might want to make a sound, and you can hear the sound that makes. Tapping is a really great way to activate the vagus nerve, which is the nerve in the body related to rest and digest. So really the opposite of non-violence here, Ahimsa. We're taking some self-care, and then perhaps we're shaking the whole body, so releasing the tapping, shaking out the arms, the fingers, shaking out the legs. You can jump up and down, shake the whole body. Really take some freestyle movements. Don't worry what this looks like. Shake, 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 shake. And then inhale, lifting the arms up and overhead over the body, finding length. And exhale, bending the knees and rounding all the way into a dangle. So you can keep the knees bent, holding onto opposite elbows and gently rocking from side to side. Notice the point of contact with the feet on the earth. And try to release the tension in your spine, your neck. Just letting yourself sink into your dangle. And then slowly bending deeply into the knees, toes pointing slightly outwards, heels pointing in, and then slowly sinking the hips all the way towards the earth. You might like to slide a pillow or block underneath the bum to lift the hips a bit higher if you're feeling a bit tight in the hips. Otherwise, finding your yogi squat without any props. You can rest the hands in front of you for balance. You can place the hands in prayer at heart center. Don't worry if your heels don't quite reach the ground, but think of actively letting them sink towards the earth. We're going to be here for a few deep breaths. So connecting back to the richness of the breath. Notice the texture. Is it smooth or rough breathing? Are you breathing shallow or deeply? And feel the breath travel across the back of the spine, into the hips. And gently placing the hands slightly in front of you, lowering onto the knees so the big toes are touching, the knees are wide apart, and then melting the upper body between the knees, arms come up and overhead, finding into a wide-legged child's pose. And again, if this feels uncomfortable, you can come onto the forearms, or you can slide a pillow or block between the calf muscle and the bum. This helps raise the hips up if you're feeling a bit of tension in the hips or back or the knees. So I really encourage you to take the time to get your body as comfortable as possible, as we are holding the poses a bit longer than in a faster paced class. Connecting to the sensation of the palms resting on the earth. The jaw is relaxed. The forehead making gentle contact with the earth. And Ahimsa, or non-violence, is a practice in which we observe how we're harming others, how we're harming the environment or ourselves potentially, and identifying how we're able to do the opposite. So acting in a way which creates no harm for others, the planet, and ourselves. So perhaps practicing some courage throughout the coming weeks, thinking about one thing that I wouldn't normally do, but that could bring some benefit to my life. So I encourage you to identify something that you wouldn't normally do, but that you know could bring some benefit to your life. And from our wide-legged child's pose, gently lifting the gaze, walking the fingertips perhaps slightly closer to the body or leaving them where they are, and then lifting up onto the knees so the hips come up so that they're above the knees, finding melting heart pose. So again, the shoulders are away from the ears, the chest melts towards the earth. You can rest the forehead on the mat, or for a more intense variation of this pose, only if it feels comfortable for your neck, you can place the chin onto the ground, gazing forward, or closing down through the eyes. And another way that we can practice Ahimsa is by guarding our balance. So noticing the messages that you feel in your body now and also in the coming weeks. So taking a note of what your body is telling you. Are you hungry or tired or needing some exercise or affection, perhaps some downtime or creative time? So really listening to these signals and then practicing a way to find balance for your body, as well as, of course, your mind and spirit. Taking another deep breath here in melting heart pose before slowly sliding all the way forward onto the belly. The backs of the feet are resting on the earth, bringing the forearms to be parallel to one another with the elbows underneath the shoulders, finding into Sphinx pose. So letting the shoulders once again sink towards the earth, keeping the chin slightly tucked, and your point of focus can either be the tip of your nose or gently closing down the eyes. Feeling a gentle curvature in the lower spine. And sending the breath all the way along the spine, down the backs of the legs. Feeling the openness across the chest. And from your Sphinx pose, all you have to do is slide your right knee up towards the top of your mat. So the thigh is parallel to the top end of the mat and the knee is bent at 90 degrees so that the shin is parallel to the long end of the mat. Finding into frog meets Sphinx pose. And for the third way that you might like to investigate Ahimsa or non-violence in your life, this one is more focused towards your interaction with others, so how you're harming others potentially without noticing. So watch out where you're running interference on other people's lives. So this might even be driven by good intentions, but have a think about where you're worrying about someone or where you're trying to fix them. I know that it's perfectly all right to have good intentions, to be there for others, to want to improve on their lives, but that by worrying or trying to fix them, we might actually be inflicting harm on them. And taking a deep breath here in your frog meets Sphinx pose, sliding the right leg back down along the mat. Taking one breath here in Sphinx pose. And then sliding the left knee up towards hip level with the knee bent at 90 degrees. So the left shin is parallel to the long end of the mat. And the left thigh is parallel to the short end of the mat. So how and in what situations might you actually be inflicting harm on others by worrying or trying to fix them? And think about other ways in which you might offer your support, which is less harmful to the other person. Taking another deep breath here in your frog meets sphinx pose before slowly sliding the left leg back down to meet the right. One deep breath here in sphinx pose, pressing the pelvis into the mat before slowly finding your way all the way onto your back. And you might like to briefly hug the knees into the chest just to release some tension in the lower back before finding a straight line on your back. Right foot crosses over the left ankle. Right hand grasps onto left wrist. And then sliding the hips over towards the right, legs and arms come over to the left, so forming a banana or smile shape. Hips pressing towards the right and arms and legs over towards the left, finding bananasana. And think of still sinking both hip bones to the earth, both shoulders to the earth, keeping the chin slightly tucked in, and feeling that openness across the right side body, the gentle right side stretch. And gently unraveling, finding back through center, stretching the toes long and the arms up and overhead before crossing the left ankle over the right, left hand grasps onto right wrist, and then pressing the hips over towards the left side, the arms and the legs pull over towards the right, finding bananasana on the other side. So just as a reminder for the previous prompts, how can you practice courage in your life? So thinking about something you wouldn't normally do, but that would bring benefit to your life. How can you guard your balance? So receiving guidance from the messages from your body, and then watching out where you're running interference on others' lives. Am I a warrior or a fixer? And how can I best act to support others? And gently from here, releasing your bananasana again, stretching, finding length, hugging the knees into the chest, and then with the lower back still hugging the earth, bending deeply into the knees, catching the bottoms of the feet with the hands, drawing the knees towards the armpits into happy baby. And you're very welcome here to rock your baby gently from side to side, or you can find stillness in your happy baby. Remembering to breathe deeply here, allowing the lower back to relax onto the earth. The back of the head is on the earth. And breathing deeply. So again, making sure that you're comfortable in this pose, particularly because this class is focused around non-harm or non-violence. You're also welcome to press the bottoms of the feet, massaging the muscles and tendons in the bottom of the foot. And then gently releasing the legs towards the mat. Left leg is stretched out and drawing the right knee in towards the chest before slowly drawing the right knee over and across the body to the left side. Arms open up into a T shape, and you can use the left hand to help support drawing the right knee to the mat, sinking the right shoulder into the earth, gazing up towards the sky or over the right fingertips. Or I invite you to close the eyes to draw inwards in your reclining rotation. And taking 5 deep breaths in and out. And slowly unraveling, coming back through center, stretching the right leg alongside the left, noticing how the sides might feel slightly different before hugging the left knee in towards the chest, and then drawing the left knee over and across the body towards the right side. So sinking that left knee over towards the right side. You're welcome to gently press the right hand onto the left knee to help support. Left arm stretches out to the side, gazing up towards the sky or over the left fingertips. Sinking the left shoulder heavy into the earth. Relaxing the muscles around the lower back and the pelvis. Feeling the chest open and expand up towards the sky in your reclining rotation. And we're here for another 5 deep breaths in and out. It can be quite tricky to breathe in these twists, but try your best to nourish your body with fresh oxygen. And gently releasing, coming back through center. And then very slowly, gently finding up to a seated position. And you can really take a nice slow transition here, bringing the bottoms of the feet together, the knees fall towards either side. And you can take the feet reasonably far away from the body, rounding the upper spine before releasing the upper body over into a seated butterfly pose. And drawing inwards into this little safe space you're creating with your body. And a 4th prompt for Ahimsa, the first of the yogic yamas, is in the coming weeks I invite you to pretend that you are complete. So just pretend that you are complete exactly as you are. This can be really challenging for most or many of us, but setting no expectations for yourself. Trying not to criticize or judge or change anything about yourself. And just accepting for a few days, maybe even just a few minutes, to be no more or less than you already are. So pretending I am complete. And from here, you can slowly, simply straighten out the legs. The ankle bones can touch, or if your hamstrings are feeling a bit tight, you're welcome to slide the feet slightly apart or bend into the knees, rounding the upper body and letting the arms relax anywhere on the legs where they fall. If you are using a pillow or a bolster, you might like to slide that onto your thighs and then resting on top, finding caterpillar pose. Breathing deeply here, feeling the breath travel from the throat to the back of the neck, down along the spine, into the hips, along the bottoms of the legs and the hamstring, all the way into the toes. And then feel yourself relax with every exhalation. And taking a nice deep breath in and exhale out with a sigh. Inhale, and from here slowly finding a way all the way onto your back into your final resting shape. So this can be with butterfly legs, so with the bottoms of the feet touching, or you can place the legs up against a wall, or finding into a traditional shavasana with the legs straight, the arms straight alongside the body, taking any final movements you need here before finding our final resting pose, shavasana. Letting go of any effort, letting the body sink heavy into the earth, and resting here for 2 minutes, and I will call us back when it's time. Slowly start to deepen the breath. Feel the shape and volume of the body on the earth. And gently invite you to bring movement back into the body by gently wriggling the fingers and the toes. And rolling over onto one side in the fetal position, resting on the arm like a pillow. And reflect on ways in which you can bring more and more peace inside of yourself. Noticing how your energy has shifted throughout this practice today. And then very gently and slowly, with your eyes closed, pressing yourself up into a seated position. Relaxed features, relaxed shoulders. Placing one hand on the heart and the other hand on top. Connecting to the sensation of your heart beating underneath your hands. And my wish for you in the next few weeks is to investigate these ways of bringing more ahimsa or non-violence into your life. I've linked the prompts in the description box for you if you'd like to have a look afterwards, or perhaps do some journaling after class. And then bowing the gaze in gratitude. Namaste. Thank you so very much for practicing this Ahimsa class with me today. Keep an eye out for the rest of the series, which will be focused around the remaining 4 yamas and then another 5 niyamas. And I'd love to hear your reflections on what Ahimsa means to you in your life, which areas you find most challenging. And if you are interested to learn more about the yamas and niyamas, I can highly recommend reading the book by Deborah Adele called Yamas and Niyamas. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and do that. It helps support my work, and I really hope to see you in the future classes. All my love.